Hello, I'm Graham Horton and welcome to my review of the Kimofon KM-G50-1 wireless microphone. Now in the past I've reviewed quite a few of the Kimofon microphones. I always found them good value for money and I always lived up to the specifications published. So when Kimofon asked me if I'd review their latest model, I jumped at the opportunity as this one looks even more interesting than some of the previous models. So this is a microphone system which has again a transmitter and a receiver system which allows you to work within 50 meters line of sight from the transmitter to the receiver. So that's one of the specifications that I wanted to verify, and also the specification calls for a much quieter background noise, so again I wanted to check that out. So this is the presentation box again. The indication of the particular microphone. On the side of the box is a number of specifications, of which KM-G50-1 is one, and it goes up to number 6. So whether there's going to be more of these microphones in this range, I can't find any more information. At the moment this just seems to be a single transmitter and single receiver pack, but maybe they're going to introduce a twin transmitter to single receiver in the future. So let's have a look inside this package. And what I do like about the Kimofon packaging is that you always get a nice padded case and the instruction manual. Now the instruction manual is in multi-language, as you can see from the front here, so it's ready to go with most countries. The actual padded case is very nice, and again inside the padded case we'll find the product itself. Very well protected. Here we have the transmitter, and in this portion here we have the receiver. And what makes me think they're going to introduce a second transmitter is the fact that this case has got already the cutout for a second transmitter. But as this stands, the KM-G50-1 is a single transmitter, single receiver unit. You also get all the accessories you'll need to get this working. We've got a charging lead which is USB-A to USB Type-C, so you can use this from your computer or a power bank to charge these units up should you need to. So that is supplied. We've also got two cables here which allow you to have the connectivity between either a smartphone, and that is in the form of a TRRS to TRS connector. So this one is labeled phone, and the other one is a camera which is TRS to TRS, and that one's labeled camera. So you've got both connectivity there if you wanted to use this with your smartphone. Obviously if you're going to be using an Apple device of the later type, you'll need to use the lightning dongle to convert from the TRRS to the lightning adapter. And again, if you're using an Android which has got the latest Type-C port, you'll need a DAC to convert again into the Android system. Also you'll get a lavalier microphone again with a foam cover. I'll come back to the foam cover later in this presentation and some recommendations. But what I do like about the Kimofon system is they always provide protective covers on all the connectors. Even though it's gold plated, you also get the protective cover to protect them in transit. You will get a wind muff which is for use with the transmitter, and additionally you'll get a spare foam cover for the microphone, so you'll get two covers. I've replaced the existing one with a different type, as you'll see later in the presentation, but that is the complete kit you'll get with the Kimofon KM-G50-1. If we were to take a quick look now at the transmitter pack, this is the transmitter. It measures 39mm by 24mm by 46mm wide, and it weighs just 27 grams. On the top of the transmitter you can see we've got a port here which is the external microphone or external line in port, 3.5mm socket. We've got the internal condenser microphone, and again there are two little tabs in there which allows you to fit the fur windshield if you're going to use this outdoors. Now this is very much reminiscent of the original Rode system, which again had a similar sort of feature where you've got a 3.5mm input port and the internal condenser microphone with its 2 tabs. But the problem with the original Rode Wireless Go was the fact that when you plugged on the fur windshield and clipped that onto the microphone, the fixing was very poor and it very easily fell off, and quite often you lost the cover. Now the Kimaphone one is a little bit stronger. It's not the same as the Rode Wireless Go 2, which is a bayonet fixture. Again, this is still 2 tangs, but they are a little bit more long, and they actually work quite well. So let's just clip that onto the microphone like so, and if we do the same test, you can see that this one now stays in place. So it's a lot firmer grip than the original Rode Wireless Go. Again, we have got 2 indicator lights on top. One is the battery status. When you're charging, it's red, and then it goes green when it's fully charged. And during use, if it comes on red, then you know your battery is low and you need to charge it. And we've also got the connectivity light here, which is blue, which signals that if it's flashing, it's waiting to pair with the receiver, and when it's solid, it has made a connection to the receiver. On the side here, we've got the power on off button, which acts as a power on off and also a mute. Press the button for 3 seconds, turns on the unit, and when it's on, a quick press will mute the transmitter. Plus and minus buttons here to increase the output level of the transmitter, and you've got a belt clip here which is the same size as the hot shoe on your camera. So if you were mounting this to a camera, you can actually slide this into the top. And we've got a Type-C charging port, which is 5 volts, so you use the supply Type A to Type-C to charge up the unit. If we were to take a quick look now at the receiver unit, the receiver is slightly bigger. It measures 39 by 24 by 56, so it's a little bit taller. Again, we've got 2 ports on the top. One is the output port, and you'll use the necessary lead to connect to either your smartphone or your mirrorless DSLR camera, etc. There's also a headphone monitoring port, so you can actually use a pair of headphones and use those to monitor the output in real time if you wanted to be concerned about your audio quality. And again, on the top we've got our charging indicator, which again is red when you're charging, but that will also be indicated by a battery status on the front charging the unit. And again, the link indicator, which is blue, solid when you've got a good connection. But we've also got a indicator on this OLED display which will tell you the status of the wireless connection. And again, power on button, press that for 3 seconds to power on the unit, press once to mute. And again, with the buttons here, we've got a plus and a minus, and that allows you to change the volume of the output to the headphone socket. But I've also noticed that does slightly reduce the output of the device to your camera or smartphone. So the two in conjunction between the plus and minus on your transmitter and the plus and minus on your receiver allows you to set the levels correctly, and I'll demonstrate that later in this video. As with the transmitter, we have a belt clip, so this could be clipped into the hot shoe of your camera, so you can connect from the output port to your camera, or again you could put this in proximity to your laptop if you're using it to record into a laptop. Now, both of the devices have internal lithium-ion batteries rated at 3.7 volts, 400 milliamp hours, and the quoted specification says they will run for 5 hours and they will charge in 1.5 hours. Now, I've not actually validated that specification, but in use you are getting up towards 5 hours without any problem. Let's have a look now at the operation of the unit and how to turn them on and how to set the levels and how to use them in the field. So if you first of all turn on the receiver, and that's done again just by pressing the power on button and holding that down for 3 seconds, the display comes on, and you can see on the display we've got a nice little OLED display which details the status of the receiver battery. So I've got the battery indicator, and we've got a output level and the current setting, which is level 5. So if you were to adjust the levels using the plus and minus, if I use the minus key, you can see that level goes to 4, then to 3, and that will change the output level of your headphone volume, but it also does attenuate the output slightly, but we'll demonstrate that later. So that is the OLED display. If I turn on the transmitter, and again by pushing that button and holding that for 3 seconds, the transmitter will power up. Notice we've got a solid blue light on the transmitter, and we've got a solid blue light on the receiver, which means we've got pairing. And if you notice on the display on the bottom left hand side, we've got the wireless status, so it shows we've got a good signal from the transmitter to the receiver, and you can use that in the field to determine whether you're going to be in range or not. And again, now we've got the status of the transmitter battery, so you can monitor your transmitter battery from a distance if you're using this again from afar. And again, you will set the levels of the transmitter to give you the correct levels. In the center of the OLED display is a volume level. Now unfortunately it's in that blue band, which doesn't make it very easy to see. If this was a completely white display, then we will be able to see the indicator for volume control. So setting levels is probably better done on your smartphone or your camera, but you can get some indication. So if I were to talk loud in here, you can see that the volume meter goes through the yellow and into the red, but in daylight that's very difficult to see. So to set your levels, you'd have to do that in sort of a shade to get the levels right. Once you've got the levels set, obviously once you power them down and power them back, they will stay the same. At the moment I'm recording the audio using my desktop microphone here, XLR Studio Condenser microphone. What I'm going to do now is switch over to the Kimofon KM50-1 and we can see the audio quality. I'm not going to interfere with the output levels in post-production. I'm not going to add any compression or equalization. You're hearing the raw audio from this, so if there's any noise, you'll hear the noise from this device. When we can connect it to a smartphone, then there is an additional noise component introduced by the actual analog to digital converter, which is in the dongle here. So whether you're using the Type-C to TRRS or using the Lightning, there is additional noise because of the way that little chip in there converts the output from analog to digital, so the phone can understand that. So there is a little bit of introduction of noise there, which we should be able to see in the recording. So let me set this up for, first of all, recording the audio with the camera, and then we'll record the audio on a smartphone device. So I've now installed the transmitter on my shirt here, and the receiver is mounted on my rig here, so it's clipped into a cold shoe on my rig here, so that's a receiver wired with the TRS to TRS for my ATEM Mini switcher. So you're hearing the audio from the microphone, and I've adjusted the levels so that I've got a level of about -10, which is a normal level for this type of device. So that's been using the volume level control on the transmitter and in conjunction with the volume level on the receiver. Now there is a facility on the receiver to plug in a pair of headphones so you can monitor the audio in real time. So I'm now monitoring the audio. There is a very slight audio lag. It's said to be about 20 milliseconds, but I haven't actually measured that. It does mean that if you're monitoring the audio, there is that echo, which can be disturbing. It can take away your concentration, but it's ideal for the sound recordist to make sure that there's no extraneous noises that the mics are picking up and destroying your audio. So it does give you that facility, but it's nothing I could use to do a camera presentation, as that echo is a little bit disturbing. So you set the levels correctly with the plus and minus on the transmitter, but I've also noticed that the plus and minus on the receiver also slightly affect the output. So that's at level 5 and I'm just peaking slightly into the red, but if I drop the level down to level 3, then my volume indicator on the ATEM Mini is now showing me about -9, which is the normal level that you would normally use these microphones at. So that is the audio quality from the Kimofon KM50-1. Now they do provide you with this lavalier microphone, so if you didn't want to have the bulk of the transmitter on your talent or try to hide it, then you can use the included lavalier microphone. The included lavalier microphone, it seems to be of a reasonable quality. You do get a clip with it which allows you to rotate it, so if you want to mount it left or right on your shirt, or even have it inverted if you want to get away from explosive pops. Now they do provide you with a windshield, which is a foam windshield, but I found that it comes off very easily, so when you push that over the microphone, it does tend to come off rather easily. So what you can do is just to put some black cotton around there and tie the end of it so it won't fall off. But I did find on Amazon a smaller foam windshield which does fit more securely over it and not likely to fall off very easily. So let me plug the lavalier microphone in the same position and we can see the levels. So I've attached the microphone in the same position as the receiver and we're getting about the same level, -9 on the ATEM Mini's volume level display. So that's the audio quality coming from the included lavalier microphone. If you were to buy the Rode Wireless Go system, then you have to provide your own lavalier microphone. You don't get one with their kit. So the inclusion of a lavalier microphone with the KM50-1 is a bonus for you. So you can get a reasonable audio quality for your productions with either the transmitter alone with its cover if you're outside, or preferably to use the lavalier microphone again with a foam windshield. It does attenuate wind noise, but again it's better if you can use a fur cat or dead cat windshield. So again, remove the foam and install a fur windshield. Let's now look at the audio noise in this system. First of all, I'm going to mute the transmitter, so the noise, if there is any, will be coming directly from the receiver. So let me first of all mute the transmitter and let's listen to the noise floor, and I'll see this on the meter as well. That showed a noise floor of round about -50, so again normally -60 is good for quiet periods, but you could see there we had a little bit of noise in the system. What I'm going to do now is to mute the receiver, so the noise level should be appreciably lower because we're using the receiver to mute it rather than the transmission. So let me just mute the receiver. So muting the receiver, the indicator was about -50 again, so again about the same level of noise reduction. We obviously hear that in the recording whether there was any difference in the audio noise coming from the system. So this is a test of the Camofone KM G50-1 microphone. Quite a windy day. I'm using the transmitter with the included wind muff, which may not be sufficient to attenuate the wind noise today, but we'll give it a go. It's a good test for the system. After which I'll try the lavalier mic with the foam, and then a lavalier mic with a wind muff that I brought along just to try as well. So today's test is really a range test to find out just whether this will transmit over the suggested range of 50 meters line of sight. You can see some railings here which are going into the distance. Each of these railings is actually 7 feet apart, or just over 2 meters. So we should be able to get to the end of these railings and still be in audio contact. So I'm going to start walking away from the camera. I'm going to still face the camera so we've got line of sight, and I'll count the posts out as we're going through. So here is the range test for the Camofone KM G50-1. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so that's about 70 feet, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So that's about 140 feet. It's probably the furthest distance that you'll ever be using an outside radio transmission system at, but we'll carry on and see how far this goes. So that's 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So that's 210 feet, 40. So that's 280 feet, way beyond the range that I would normally be using one of these systems outdoors. So that would be a good test if we're still getting good audio contact. What I'm going to do is turn my back on the transmitter, so if we have got line of sight contact and I turn my back, it should disappear. So turning around now. So that is a transmitter. We should have lost that radio transmission. Back round, it should pick it up. So let's come back to a reasonable distance and try that again. So walking back towards the receiver, and I'll now change over from the capsule mic on the transmitter, and I'll install a lavalier mic, and we'll see if we get any difference in audio quality. So we're coming back to the station. So this is a test using the included lavalier microphone. You can see I've just got the foam windshield on here. Now normally outdoors in wind, the foam windshield is not sufficient to attenuate any wind noise. So what I've done is bring along a fur windshield here, which is one manufactured by a company called Comica, available on Amazon, and I'm going to put that over the top of the foam windshield, and hopefully that will attenuate some of the wind noise that you're probably hearing in this video clip at the moment. So I'll just stop the video and attach this, and we'll carry on. So I've now attached that Comica fur windshield over the top of that foam windshield on the supplied lavalier mic. Now, to be fair, the foam windshield that's supplied with this microphone is a little bit oversized. The actual electric condenser is too slack inside that module. It falls off very, very easily. So if you are wearing it outside, beware, you might lose that. It might be worth putting a little bit of cotton around there and tying it tighter to the electric microphone. But hopefully this wind muff now is reducing some of the wind noise, which is quite strong today. So this again is a test of the KimaFun KM-50-1 microphone using the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra to record the audio in the standard camera app. So this is a sample of the audio quality you can get with the levels adjusted correctly on the microphone and on the receiver. By way of an audio comparison, I'm now using the KimaFun lavalier microphone into the Rode Wireless Go, so you can actually hear the difference in quality between the, if you like, industry standard Rode Wireless Go compared to the KimaFun KM-50-1. So that's the lavalier microphone. I'll take off the lavalier microphone and we'll just use the transmitter alone, and again using the same levels, -9, you'll be able to see the difference in quality. So that is the Rode Wireless Go internal microphone, again at the same distance. It's giving me the same level, around about -9, so you'll be able to hear the quality of the Rode Wireless Go versus the KimaFun KM-50-Y. So that's my presentation of the KimaFun KM-50-1 wireless microphone. You can see the audio quality. It's not professional quality by any means, but it is better than the internal microphone in most cases of your cameras and on your smartphone, and it gives you that opportunity of being able to record talent away from the microphone in an interview type situation. So you can use this to great effect to produce better quality videos for your productions. So until the next video, thanks very much for watching. Now, in the links in the video description below, I will put links to the Amazon page where you can purchase this device in your own country. So until the next video, thanks very much for watching. Please do take care, and I hope to see you all very, very soon. Goodbye for now.